Hello and thanks for joining us on the news at NTA International. I'm Elizabeth Onori. I look at the headlines. President Buhari in New York ahead of the 77th session of the United Nations General Assembly. Ethiopia and Mozambique to adopt Niger's biotechnology and biosafety policy. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo joins other world leaders in London to attend Queen Elizabeth II's funeral on Monday. President Muhammadu Buhari is in New York, United States, ahead of the annual meeting of the United Nations General Assembly. President Buhari at the World Leaders meeting is expected to give his address on Wednesday and participate in high-level deliberations as well as side events, including the Nigeria International Economic Partnership Forum convened by Nigeria in partnership with the Business Council for International Understanding. The president will also attend other key events on a practical approach on sustainable, durable solutions organized by the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development and the EFCC NEPAD program on combating illicit financial flows. The 77th session of the General Assembly, which begins on Tuesday, is tagged A Watershed Moment, Transformative Solutions to Interlocking Challenges. In its continuous bid to further open up the country's economy to international capital and attract foreign investment, the Nigerian government, in collaboration with the African Business Roundtable, is organizing the second edition of the Nigeria International Economic Partnership Forum, a global economic investment platform, this time in New York, United States.
Holding alongside the annual global gathering, the Nigeria International Economic Partnership Forum is expected to draw the presence of world leaders in politics, economy, local and international media, and civil society organizations to focus on the vast economic potentials of Nigeria, Africa's leading economy. Most significantly, President Muhammadu Buhari will deliver the keynote address at the event and will also host a high-level presidential session with fellow presidents and heads of delegations on issues which need joint action for African countries on the development drive. In view of the wide spectrum of personalities attending the forum, there will be cluster thematic sessions on growing Nigeria's agriculture for food security and access to export markets, with special focus on impact of the Russia-Ukraine war, which presents opportunities for G7, G20 Nigeria partnerships in agriculture. Scaling up international resources for financing education in Africa, with emphasis on making facilities to link government, deal sponsors and international pools of capital in education, and Nigeria's oil and gas sector, reforms, results, and the road, focusing on scaling up investment into the gas market, plants, parks, cylinders, reinjection. Other issues slated for discussion include scaling up international resources for healthcare in Africa, bordering on upgrading and expanding Nigeria's healthcare infrastructure towards making Nigeria the healthcare hub for Africa.
Away from the investment forum, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has arrived London ahead of Queen Elizabeth II's burial scheduled for Monday 19th of September. The Vice President is to represent President Muhammadu Buhari at the ceremony that will be attended by dozens of world leaders. As part of activities for the funeral service, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, alongside other dignitaries, will be received by King Charles III and Queen Consort Camilla at the Buckingham Palace this evening. Before returning to Nigeria on Monday, the Vice President will hold bilateral meeting with the United Kingdom Foreign Secretary James Cleverly. Still on the Queen's burial, world leaders have started arriving in London ahead of the Queen's funeral on Monday, with about 500 heads of state and foreign dignitaries invited amidst heightened security. Charles Alpha tells us more.
US President Joe Biden was among those who touched down overnight as the UK prepares for a gathering of leaders not seen in decades. The Queen's funeral will be screened in parks, squares and cinemas across the UK. It is the final full day the Queen will lie in state, and the queue to see her coffin is now 12 hours long. Camilla, the Queen's consort, has paid tribute to the Queen, saying she carved her own role in a world dominated by men. Last night, the Queen's 8 grandchildren, including Princes William and Harry, held a vigil for their grandmother in Westminster Hall. About 1,500 military personnel have been deployed since Tuesday night, and thousands of police officers are taking up positions in central London every day. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Open Nord Stream 2 if you want gas, Putin tells Europe, just as thousands rally in France demanding resignation of President Emmanuel Macron. Charles Alpha once again brings us details.
Переложить проблему или главную...
President Vladimir Putin denies Russia has anything to do with Europe's energy crisis, saying that if the European Union wanted more gas, it should lift sanctions preventing the opening of the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. After Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit in Uzbekistan, Putin blamed what he called the green agenda for the energy crisis and insisted that Russia would fulfill its energy obligations. And in France, several thousand protesters gathered on the Palais Royal Square in Paris following a call from the right-wing Patriot Party to demand the resignation of French President Emmanuel Macron. After the first demonstration on September 3, the Patriots issued a new call to take to the streets. The activists are calling for Macron's resignation and withdrawal from the European Union and NATO. And from Taiwan comes another report of a strong earthquake which has trapped people and derailed trains. The earthquake shook much of Taiwan on Sunday, toppling a 3-story building and temporarily trapping 4 people inside, stranding about 400 tourists on a mountainside and knocking part of a passenger train off its tracks. And in Africa, Eritrea is mobilizing armed forces due to re-eruption of the conflict in northern Ethiopia, raising fears that the fighting may intensify in a war that has already displaced millions and triggered a humanitarian disaster across northern Ethiopia. In view of this, the Canadian government has advised its citizens in Eritrea to limit their movements and monitor local media. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Thank you, Charles, for the update. And now to Nigeria, the success story recorded by Nigerians in the area of agricultural biotechnology has continued to attract some African countries. Latest is Ethiopia and Mozambique, as delegations from both countries indicated interest to adopt Nigeria's biotechnology and biosafety policy. Musalu reports.
Cowpea is all good.
Ivo Mocha is from Republic of Mozambique. She's savoring some Nigerian delicacies for the first time.
We were informed that this cowpea was produced here using new technologies.
Apart from cowpea, Nigeria also made breakthroughs in cotton and maize through the use of biotechnology.
We are leading in the area of biotechnology and biosafety space.
Mocha and other delegates from Ethiopia and Mozambique interacted with government officials and scientists on Nigeria's success story in biotechnology.
We have developed guidelines on gene editing. We are currently developing guidelines on synthetic biology and also gene drives.
After is to learn from Nigeria, to see what we have done, to see the advancement, and then to learn and then go and copy in their country.
Director General, Agricultural Institute of Mozambique, Dr. Olga Fattini, said the lessons learned from the visit would help Mozambique develop a strong biosafety agency with full autonomy.
We know that Nigeria has already succeeded in releasing the cowpea and the cotton, and I think that they have some good achievements that we can share and learn from them.
On his part, President Biotechnology Society of Ethiopia harped on the need for Africa to develop its own genetically modified technology to address food insecurity on the continent. Musa Aliyu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammad Buhari has approved an intervention fund for the completion of construction of 10 rice mills in 10 states. Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development Mahmoud Abubakar, while making the announcement in Jos, Plateau State, said each of the rice mills will have the capacity to mill 300 tons per day. The mills are located in Jigawa, Kano, Adamawa, Niger and Kaduna. Other states are Gombe, Ekiti, Ogun, Bayelsa and the Federal Capital Territory.
It is on this note that I wish to solicit the active participation and support of all stakeholders in the facilitation of rural infrastructure, research and innovation, credit and insurance, extension services, and agribusiness investment in the country. This will enable us to achieve food and nutrition security and economic development in Nigeria. Let me reiterate, this government has invested so much and supported the ministry with various interventions more than any other administration in recent past. What we can do best is to make sure we support the government by utilizing the resources adequately.
The 2022 rainy season has been stable, showing signs of bumper harvest. Investigations carried out by our correspondent Musa Aliyu indicates that fresh produce are available in the market, but prices are yet to stabilize.
The rainy season has been friendly, especially the distribution aspect of the rains. Farmers in states where the rains have stabilized early have started harvesting some of crops. These crops include yam, cassava, maize, millet, groundnuts, among other produce. And markets like this one are the first point of call for people looking for fresh farm produce. For instance, this yam market located in Ibadan, Oyo State, thousands of tubers are supplied to the market on daily basis. This farmer says the output is encouraging. In harvest time like this, prices of agricultural produce usually experience a drop, but this year, the prices of produce have remained high. Recent figures by the National Bureau of Statistics indicate that food prices rose by 22.02% year-on-year in July. The inflation was more in the prices of cereals, potatoes, yam, meat and fish.
Food security, that is what the people are running for. Having enough to eat, having access to it, affordability, access, availability. So how do we make, food accessible, available to the people?
Most of the harvest, which include the drying of produce, is carried out manually, sometimes in an unhygienic manner. The Plateau State Governor says post-harvest losses have been a major challenge.
We need to change this strategy and do so fast to save our farmers from poverty and despondency.
Professor Abdullahi Mustafa of the National Biotechnology Development Agency said the use of modern farming technology will help farmers address post-harvest losses.
Especially in the area of creating jobs and in the area of nutritional security and in the area of food security, because Nigeria is a country of 200 million people, and feeding these people requires technology, requires science, requires advancement.
Another challenge confronting farmers yet to harvest their produce is flooding. Thousands of hectares of farmland in 32 states have been submerged. This remains a threat to food security in states like Jigawa, Gombe, Kano, Bauchi, and Niger. Musa Aliyu, NTA News.
Away from agriculture, the Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Tim Silva, said the federal government's intervention programs in the health sector will be strengthened to meet the growing need of infrastructure and other facilities to enhance services. He stated this at the inauguration of intervention projects executed by the Defunct Petroleum Equalization Fund Management Board, provided at Modibo Adamawa University Teaching Hospital, Yola. Yusuf Jika reports.
The Defunct Petroleum Equalization Fund Management Board has carried out 58 different projects and programs to promote healthcare service delivery and other critical sectors in Adamawa State, held the visit of the Minister. Part of the projects inaugurated by the Minister of Petroleum Resources, Tim Silva, at Modibo Adamawa University Teaching Hospital, Yola, includes resident doctors' quarters, doctor studios, neonatal units, histopathology and radiology complex equipped with magnetic resonance imaging, MRI and CT scanner, among other state-of-the-art facilities for efficiency and effectiveness of the hospital. The minister, who appreciated the quality of work executed, said Buhari-led administration will not relent in giving topmost priority on structures and facilities of health institutions in line with the global best practices.
This is just the intervention of one agency alone in the oil industry. We are going to try to galvanize interest in the whole oil industry, and a lot of other oil companies and operators in the industry will come and do some social corporate responsibility programs.
Chief Medical Director of Modibo Adamawa University Teaching Hospital, Yola, Professor Awal Muhammad Abubakar, said the intervention projects has placed the hospital to be prestigious, promising to utilize the structures and equipments effectively. The minister also inaugurated Ajia and Nana Asmao primary health care centers in Yola North and Yola South local government areas, and later paid a visit and Governor Amaju Umaru Country of Adamawa State. Yola, Yusuf Jiga, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International. Let's take a breather now. More reports ahead. Just stay with us.
Forget last season, forget the winners and the losers, forget every moment that stole the show, because this is a brand new season on GoTV, and it's going to be bigger and better than any season before it, with over 7 leagues and cup competitions, plus a World Cup. Make sure you get the best seats in the house this new football season. Get a decoder, GoTenna, plus 1 month GoTV Max for 6,900 Naira only. Bigger season, greater football. GoTV, love it.
Latest entry, latest technology. Welcome to Intel 4G LTE Advanced and experience super fast internet access today. Visit intel.com.ng or any of our stores in Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt to get started. Intel.
Thanks for staying with NTA International. The Buhari Media Organization BMO says the 1.5 trillion naira recently recovered from oil and gas companies operating in Nigeria is part of the mess left by the People's Democratic Party, which President Muhammad Buhari has been cleaning in all sectors of the economy. The BMO in a statement notes that the amount was part of tax and fees identified by the Nigeria Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative in our 2019 report on our 2.6 trillion naira debt owed by 77 companies. The group noted that it was not the first time NTA and by extension the Buhari administration was living up to expectations in the sector in the last 7 years. It added that the Buhari administration will ensure that never again will the country be denied what is due it from the extractive industries. Now, the Akwa Ibom State Governor, Udom Emmanuel, has directed the Commissioner for Works and Fire Service to immediately set up a panel of inquiry to, within 1 month, investigate the collapse of a 4-story building under construction in the state capital. Governor Emmanuel, while expressing his condolences to the families whose relatives were injured or died in the incident, promised that if the panel finds any acts of negligence or wrongdoing, those responsible will face the full wrath of the law. Kelvin Samuel tells us more.
This is a scene of the building collapse right here in the heart of Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital. According to eyewitness, the incident took place exactly at about 5:30 p.m. on Saturday, the 17th day of September 2022, while business activities were still going on around here.
I was still in the shop, like 20 minutes past 5, I left my shop. I said, let me go and make my nails. Immediately I left the shop. It was not even up to 10 minutes. They called me, come to the shop, come to the shop. What happened? Just come to the shop. I left what I was, look at my nails. I did not finish making it. I came to my shop. That place that I was sitting down to sew, this thing fell on top of that my industrial machine. All my machine, like 30 machine here, is damaged. They rushed 4 people to the hospital. One died on the road. That night, they removed one dead body inside, and so many dead bodies are still inside because there was a living house. The other side.
I think my neighbor is gone because when I came to the house, he was in the house. And according to my neighbor, when I went out, one of my neighbors was asking him to boil water for him. So I'm very sure he was inside the house.
Next year, I just hear the vibration of the house. Brrr, just like that. As before I rush out, the house was collapsed instantly, and by that incident I rushed outside to try to rescue about 3 people. Then 2 are dead, while 2 are injured.
The people believe some of their loved ones are still trapped under the building, calling for more help for the total excavation of the site. At the time of this report, the actual reason for the collapse is not certain. However, this is not a regular occurrence here in Akwa Ibom State, given the nature of the story.
In Uyo, Kevin Samuel, NTA News.
Hardly does any day pass without one reading headlines of gory tales of betrayals and rejection from sources least expected. In most cases, such events lead to death by those affected. To give help to victims of such negative events to live, Ahanu Amos Ehechoya came up with a literature and wavering will. Juliana Nicholas brings us highlights of a book launch.
She was just 2 years old when her mother died. At age 15, her father also died. All hope gone, dreams of becoming a scholar hanging on the scale, but perseverance and determination saw her through. Today, she is a PhD holder in international relations. This is the story of Hannatu Amos, the author of The Unwavering Will.
But as strong will as I am, and a jellyfish when it comes to acts of kindness. I'm not holding any political position, and in the office hierarchy, I'm not yet there, that you will say you are constrained to come because of my office or whatever. But you all came here out of your love for me, and I don't take that for granted.
For those passing through the same path she passed through as a young child, filled with betrayals, frustration, rejection, and heartbreaks, Hannatu put pen to paper in 231-page book to the hopeless, filled with some glimmer of hope for a country with unlimited potentials.
But what it says is one that anyone can read and enjoy. I will strongly recommend it for teenage girls and boys, as they will learn a lot about discipline, determination, hard work, faith, and hope.
It's a manual for many, but for those passing through the harsh realities of life at the moment, a daily guide.
Well, it says a lot, but it's not differences, religion, culture, you can see a lot of.
The title is to encourage you never to give up, to be steady, to be steadfast, to continue. I am very, very happy with the feedback I am getting. So I see endless possibilities with this book. It's not just in schools. Parents have lessons to learn. People in the society have lessons to learn. So honestly, the sky is the starting point.
It is now a matter of days to the commencement of campaigns ahead of the 2023 general elections, and Nigerians hope for a peaceful and issue-based electioneering period. The Article 2023 National Women Youth Group is taking a spiritual approach to this with an interdenominational prayer session in Abuja. Ekene Ndulwe reports.
It is a gathering of women who believe the future will be brighter with the affairs of the nations in the hands of God. In supplication, we are asking God for peace and tranquility as activities gather pace ahead of the 2023 general elections. The group believes women have a huge role to play in the coming elections and can no longer take the back seat.
I pray that the election will be successful and everybody will mind his way. Nobody should use anybody for bloodshed or whatever, because most especially our youth.
I think as mothers it is pertinent and it's important that we have a Nigeria that you're not suspicious of your neighbor. That if your neighbor is from Maiduguri, you're not saying to your child, don't go to those people's house, don't eat those people's food.
In Nigeria that works is their desire as they urge youths to shun violence this election season.
We need to be united in this country before we can get anything done.
It will be clearer in the days ahead if the women are up to the task as the Article 2023 National Women Youth Group is inaugurated. Ekene Ndulwe, NTA News.
Of course, they are always up to the task. Next, some sporting stories with Cynthia Ogun.
We begin with karate as winners continue to emerge at the first Chief of Defense Staff National Karate Open Championship holding at the Package B section of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium as Oluwaseun Olorunbi of Team Fire Service won gold in the plus 60 kg male category, and African champion Chioma Annabelle of Team Anambra won the plus 68 kg female individual kata. Now to football, ahead of their Tuesday international friendly clash against former African champions Algeria, the Super Eagles head coach Jose Pesaro has invited Emmanuel Dennis and Valentine Ozonwafo as replacement for injured Henry Oyekuru and Leon Balogun in the squad. The duo who were injured during club games will be replaced by the two new invitees for the game, which is expected to be played in Oran, Algeria on September 27. In the meantime, Team Nigeria's Star Eagles goal scorer Oba Azubike said he is looking to put in more goals as Nigeria take on Egypt Monday in their second match of the ongoing 2022 IBSA Blind Football Africa Championship holding in Morocco. Nigeria began their campaign with a comfortable 1-0 win over Ivory Coast on Saturday in the Five Nations Championship scheduled to end September 26. And finally, Arsenal returned to the top of the English Premier League table with 18 points after defeating Brentford at home 3-0. 2 goals from William Saliba and Gabriel Jesus in the first half and 1 more in the second half was what Arsenal needed to top the EPL table. With Sports Update, Cynthia Ogun, NTA News.
In Sports Update, news at this time, our international